get so mad, there's no control
Ladies
of
and
me. My
gentlemen,
thoughts
just in
get
case
so
you
bad,
live
I'm
under
like,
a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat,
looking
I
at the
don't know, my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
fastest
boils over
rising
like,
star in
oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you had shut the fuck up real bad. Shut up.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Monday Night Raw review here on the BX Sports Jedi Network, the Heel of the Ring podcast. I am BX Sports Jedi Kev, the Don of Watch Along. Hey, salute to everyone. This is the Monday Night Raw review. Let's get right to it. It is the Monday Night Raw without Vince McMahon. It starts off. What a way of starting it off. But first and foremost, let's say hello to Heel. Heel, what's up?
Hey.
All right. We start off Monday Night Raw with a lot of in-ring action. You got the Miz, Logan Paul. It just started off hot, back and forth, without no introductions. No, we don't even know what happened. It goes on live, and we're like an all-out brawl. What a spectacular fireworks immediately. What was your thoughts on that when you saw that entrance?
The Miz and Logan Paul?
Yes, sir. The entrance of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it got you more hyped for SummerSlam. Plain as that.
It just brought that feud to another level. Or it looked like you turned the heat up there, and they didn't even get out of the ring. And then out comes Roman Reigns. Then we get one after the other. It's like, whoa, okay, business is picking up, like they used to say in Monday Night Raw. Business is about to pick up. We get the tribal chief comes out with the whole Bloodline, of course. Walking around with, and one thing I noticed, WWE still going to keep the two different titles. It's you still got the blue and red titles for Roman Reigns, as well as the tag team. They're going to make one unification title yet. I noticed that coming in there. Quick promo, microphone skills. I love the fact that Paul Heyman gets on the mic and the microphone dies out, but he recovers like a true maestro. Said, you know what? Just like everyone around, there's been a lot of change. A lot of people, you'll be the next one out of here. I loved it. What was your thoughts on Paul Heyman just with that microphone botch that he just turned it around? Said it was you must be from New Jersey. I loved it.
I don't think he would have noticed it unless you're paying attention. That's how great he recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so smooth, and he just kept on going. And Paul Heyman is just one of the masters on the mic. I mean, you can argue that there's no one better than Paul Heyman when it comes to mic skills.
Oh, phenomenal. Also, I like when Roman says, I don't want to talk. And he talked, Heyman. And it seemed like Heyman was just hyping the living crap out of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar again. I know people complain, oh, we're going to see them again. We're going to see them wrestle again. But the way Heyman brought the heat and the way he hyped that matchup, you want to see that obstacle, because he mentioned, everyone has an obstacle. You have, Hogan, Macho Man, Stone Cold, The Rock. I love the fact that he kept bringing those two opposed figures and bringing that to life, and I loved it with Roman and Lesnar. So he's also giving us a bit of a brief history, kind of telling people who are complaining about, again. Well, back in those times, we kept seeing those feuds so many different times over and over, and we were never, and we call them instinct, we call them classic. He's trying to tell us this is a classic here coming up, or Last Man Standing. I love, once again, he talks on the mic well. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like only God knows how many times I think we got Austin Rock back in the '90s, leading up to the 2004 Stone Cold retired. So yeah, I just think wrestling fans nowadays don't have the attention capacity to see, that those kind of matches again, those feuds play out. But yeah, Paul Heyman is right. From a storyline perspective, we are getting a classic rivalry here, an old school rivalry, so to speak, and I like it. I really do. Yeah, you can complain about it from a modern fan standpoint, but it's going places. It's actually really good, and I never thought I'd say this. It makes Brock kind of an underdog a little bit because Brock has overcome the whole entire bloodline, and Roman's already being built up to be this guy that's pretty much better than Brock, if not at least arguably. But not only does Brock have to overcome him, he has to overcome the Usos and the mind, the psychology, so to speak, of Paul Heyman.
Indeed, indeed,
Yeah,
and he definitely breaks that psychology there. And then while that promo's cutting, we get Theory interrupts. Now Theory has been doing those troll jobs. You know, tonight I think we showcase Theory in so many different ways. So good, bad, and ugly. Theory comes out, and I love the fact that Roman just attacks him on the microphone. You know, salute Samurai. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So
I just woke up. Oh.
all right. So we hear Theory come out, had that interruption. Roman says, "Hey, come in the ring. Come in the ring." You know, I love the fact that he played them like, like come on, like he looked Theory all in all with the Roman Reigns promo looked like a child, like, and you could tell that Theory looked young behind the ears especially when Roman throws out, oh, don't what, your daddy's not gonna be here to protect you no more. I was like, whoa, what was your initial thoughts on those? And then was here to throw it over to Samurai.
Oh, I loved it. Roman Reigns is your example of like never give up on trying to build up a wrestler because we have the story of Roman when he first pushed as a solo wrestler. People kept denying him. They didn't want him on the top, but Vince said, "No, I'm not giving up on Roman. I'm not giving up on him." Some of you guys, for the most part, don't like him, but he kept pushing him. And look at Roman now. He is just great, and it's because of stuff like this. Not only is he great in the ring, but he's really good. I want to say borderline great on the mic, at least right now. Bottom line, Roman's found his character, and this is why you never give up on wrestlers, especially ones that you see really good talent is. And Theory just got owned on the mic here in so many ways. And I like how the crowd was chanting, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? And then Roman's like, oh, I'm going to tell you who his daddy's going to be. But luckily, Roman's feeling generous today. And, and all that. And it was just great. It was a great segment.
Samurai, your thoughts on Roman Reigns going there to Theory, and how did Theory to you look? Does he diminish? Does you still think Theory is still on the right track?
I mean, I do think he's on the I guess the right track, but then at the same time, it's because he's being protected by the CEO that he's where he is now. He's he's on fast track because of Vince, and now that Vince is gone, I feel like he's just floundering right now. He's lost.
All right. You may. I gonna be a little bit disagree with it. I think Austin Theory, the wrestler in NXT, going up into WWE. I think he checks the boxes to me. First of all, he gets the heat from the crowd. And I love the angle that they're playing at the locker room. Despises him. He is getting the perfect heat angle from even the locker room, heel and face. We'll talk about that in a moment with that. And I think that character building, I think he gets it, and I guess he's working that angle phenomenal. The fact that Vince McMahon is no longer in charge of the WWE, and we all know that Triple H now is head of creative, and I still think the plan still marches forward. I still think that they have a diamond in theory, and I think WWE is going to show how it's done when you got a wrestler who may not be as popular cutting a promo on the microphone skill, but is getting over with the proper heat. What I'm referring to is AEW dropping the ball with MJF. This is how WWE is going to show you how you build a champion from within. And I think they're going to get it right. I think they're going to, and it might not be to everyone's liking, but that's the point of an Austin Theory. It's not to be everyone. Not everybody. You're not supposed to love the heel doing what they're going to do here. You're supposed to despise it and hate it, and they're getting the proper reaction from the WWE universe, in my opinion. But we shall see. We'll bring that point again in a moment, because out comes Drew McIntyre. If the night gets any worse for Theory, he has a match with Drew McIntyre, which I wasn't aware of. It wasn't advertised. And of course, they have the match here. And when you saw that match, Samurai, did you get invested in seeing a Drew McIntyre and Austin Theory being so close to one, SummerSlam, and two, for SmackDown, for McIntyre is going to have a Donnybrook match with Sheamus? He don't want to be injured, and is it too much at a short time, or what was your thoughts, Samurai?
I mean, I honestly, it was really bizarre, because I didn't expect it. For one, you're right, they do have that match on Friday, him and Sheamus, and I was like, what is going on here? I didn't know whether or not they were going to cancel that match or move it to SummerSlam, which they should do, because it should be on SummerSlam. But that's just my thoughts, my opinion on that. So I feel like they were, I guess they were just warming up. I really don't know. But I mean, overall, I did like the match.
All right. Heel, your thoughts on the match? And as we saw, the interference, and we had a disqualification here, and we saw the attack on McIntyre, which brought out Lashley out. What was your thoughts on that there? You like, okay, what's the dynamic? Where are we going? Or are you thinking something different?
It was just overall, I get the Sheamus Drew McIntyre dynamic, but I was just overall confused. So I was just like, okay, I guess this was just thrown in there to try to build up Sheamus and Drew. So I'm like, okay, let's just kind of get this over with. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, sometimes WWE has these feuds, and you're just not really interested. And this is one I'm not really interested in. Honestly, I'm more interested if they were to save Drew in Theory once Drew got the title and Drew was one of his feuds, but I guess we're going to go ahead and have it. But I guess they did kind of protect it by having the interference, but it's whatever. It was whatever to me.
Yeah, and the thing was, we lost a little bit of an essence there, because when after the match, you saw they're jumping on McIntyre. You saw Bobby Lashley come out to aid a McIntyre. He has issues with Theory. They're going to have a United States title match in SummerSlam. And Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes. And of course, with McIntyre, the Donnybrook match, winner gets a shot at In the Castle, which, like, I agree with you, Samurai, should have been for SummerSlam. But when I saw that, then we went to a commercial break. And then, of course, people complain about, oh, it's going to change. WWE's going to be different. I saw the same as business as usual. We come back and we have a match within another match. I was when I saw that part, I was like, please don't make it at the end of. Don't put it at the third hour that we're gonna see now. Oh, the general manager decides to make Lashley, 6-man tag or whatever. And I said, I don't want to see these guys anymore. And then unfortunately, when we came back from commercial, they made the match there. And be honest with you, personally, like I used that heel, I just didn't want to see it. Honest with you, I want to be totally honest. I love WWE, that, guys. And I come hard on AEW and ROH, and but this here last night, I know they're in Madison Square Garden, but I just did not want to see this match. We already had McIntyre and Theory go away. Interference, let it go. Give me something different. But no, we get a tag match there. Theory teaming up with Sheamus, taking on Lashley and McIntyre even more time. So Theory, this whole hour, the first hour of Monday Night Raw, it was a Monday Night Theory show. Heel, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I get it. Theory needs the exposure because you really want him to get over, especially considering he's Mr. Money in the Bank and he's probably going to be your future world champion. But and I don't think this is entirely Theory's fault. I think this is just them having it feels like whoever was booking the show was like, okay, we know how to fill the first probably 30 minutes, but then the next 30 minutes in the first hour, we're kind of just gonna wing it, and hopefully it sticks.
Okay, Samurai,
Yeah.
how did it look on your end there with the tag match? Did you wanted to see that, or did you had enough?
No, not really. I mean, the match was fine itself, but you have to realize that they're building the story between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley as well. I mean, not Drew McIntyre, Austin Theory and Drew McIntyre as well, as evidenced by the end of the match. So if you really look into it, that's what they're doing. I know what they're doing because if you watch, you'd see. I know you didn't watch NXT of old, but that's how NXT was initially run. Before Triple H was, removed from his duties. So if you really pay attention, that's Triple H's influence already within the first day.
Okay. All right, that's a good point. See, that's why we have different perspective, different mindsets, because we see it from all different type of angles, all different point of view. I see now. You're enlightening me there. Personally, what I got out of it was Austin Theory is so over right now. Even if he lost, because even we saw Sheamus didn't even want to tag Theory. The angle is the locker room despises Theory, no matter who it is. He is a lone wolf. And of course, no Vince McMahon to protect him, the protege of McMahon. He is the lone wolf there. No one likes him. Everyone despises him. We also saw Dolph Ziggler out at ringside, which didn't kind of make you like, what, it was a little bit of a monkey wrench there. We want some little bit of clarification, but he causes Theory to tap out to the full Nelson on Lashley, and it's showing a story that everyone doesn't want Theory to succeed. This is why, I'm saying here, come Saturday, SummerSlam, I'm believing Theory is going to walk out United States champion and unified world champion, cashing in successfully. I think he's gonna piss everyone off, and what a way of pissing everyone off and getting everyone hot in the WWE and getting that proper heat that everyone despises, because now you're looking for Clash of the Castle, in England, for this McIntyre to beat the living shit out of Theory, because he's hated, and now the tribal chief is pissed off because you could still bring. There's so many different storylines here that you could come out with, especially in director, the head of creative with Triple H. I got out of that first hour. That's what I got out of it. But I also saw you now when you talking to me, Samurai, about the way Triple H does the booking and from the black and gold. I'm kind of interested and intrigued. Heel, what's your thoughts on both of those?
There are obviously huge possibilities. I really don't know yet. I guess we're gonna have to just watch and see, to be honest with you, because I don't know how to feel about that. Because Theory winning all 3 titles, the way I kind of saw it is he might lose to Bobby Lashley, because you know how WWE is. They like to create a little bit of mystique. He might lose to Lashley and then have you be like, oh no, Theory's out of it. And then once he comes in to cash in, they're going to be like, oh no, Theory's going to try to cash in. Then he's going to get the world titles, because I don't think WWE's really, at least not within their own company, like directly, ever had a guy wear more than 3 titles, if I can remember correctly.
There's always a first time, my friend. Though,
Yeah,
especially now these days where you see, and of course WWE is always WWE. You remember WWE sets the bar. They don't lower it to the other wrestling, no matter how big they think they are, or whatever the case is. But you see FTR walking around with 3 titles. You see, in granted from different companies, but I think I could see a mimic there, and of course you could, because you could kind of say it's like a reset. You know why I say it's a reset? Because now Triple H could reset the United States title to someone he's wants to create a tournament, first ever United States tournament champion. And get that going. Like, oh, I'm gonna tune into this tournament to see who's gonna be the first under the new regime, the new United States champion. Those kind of things.
yeah, I will say it's interesting. I mean, to do all that with Theory, but with knowing how WWE likes to usually do things, but and granted, I can already.
This is a different creative though. This ain't Vince
I know,
anymore.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, I was already telling myself that you can already hear the argument of like, well, things are gonna change probably dramatically, and I'll just say this: it's always up in the air, and this does sound interesting with Theory.
It does. It does. And then to top it all off, at the end of the whole segment, after Theory taps out, he's going back to the backstage area, and out of nowhere, bam, super kick by the Usos, knocks him out like his day can't get any worse. And then I love Roman Reigns says, "You make sure you bring that with you, okay? When you're gonna cash that in." I mean, adding more insults to injury there. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal close out. Poor Theory there, guys. I loved it.
Yeah, I do too. And the really interesting part about this is like a heel group and a heel working together, and it goes to show how well these two can work together. It goes to show like two faces and two heels can work good together. And I love the egotistical bloodline working with like the the young heel in Theory. I don't know why it just works so well together because it's like the high school bullies bullying the guy that's trying so hard to become a rock. I know it's a weird comparison, but yeah.
I agree. And then so they go to commercial, they return back, and now we get the 20-year anniversary of celebration of Rey Mysterio Jr. Well deserved, first and foremost, 20 years in the WWE or anywhere, to a really good entertainer. Not just and going into the land of giants, which WWE used to be called the land of giants. All their champions were big, larger than life personas. I mean, usually they don't put titles or belts, around someone that is not a giant. Hogan, the names are there. Macho Man, they're lifer, and to place it not just on Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, though, and for him to continue to entertain, and pretty much almost the same gimmick. Be honest with you, it's the luchador with the mask, the Mysterio, the 619. And he's still over to this day. Mysterio, you could go on for me in another 20 years because thumbs up, bro. You heal?
I mean, yeah. This is his. I think a lot of people got to remember too. This is only his 20th year in WWE.
Exactly.
He's been wrestling way longer than. Like he said, he's technically been wrestling since he was 14. 14. I mean, who can wrestle when they're 14? That's insane. And yeah, like you said, he can still go unlike most wrestlers, he was really smart to be like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I gotta take this out of my repertoire if I want to go another X amount of years and stuff like that. And I mean, in his promo too on Raw today, it was really nice and to the point, and you can even say it was really like touching and borderline emotional, and it's so it was really emotional, but in a different way because like you said, he pointed it to his son and everything like that, and I think Dominic. Now that I think about it, I think he will put on the mask eventually because he literally said, "Once I'm long gone, I'm glad you started wrestling because you'll carry on the Mysterio legacy. So I think at some point Dominic will put on the mask. It's just a matter of when.
All right.
And it was just it was a really great promo, and and obviously them shouting out Eddie Guerrero. I mean, Eddie Guerrero, he's just that one person that he's just a lifelong friend to them, rather no matter what. And I personally, as a fan, I love this promo. And I'm sorry, I can go on and on because like I grew up with Rey Mysterio. That was mainly like my generation. So it's nice to see Mysterio wrestle for 20 years in WWE, and you know I'm happy to see his kid here too, and I can't wait to see what he does. And believe it or not, there's plenty of other wrestlers that are preparing for 20 years, like the Miz. Believe it or not, in 2 years it'll be his 20th anniversary, I believe.
Sheamus as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of wrestlers preparing for their 20th.
And Samurai with Mysterio with his promo, you saw him thanking all different types of wrestlers. You watching it as well as heel. I had a couple wrestlers that I thought he was going to thank, or maybe he forgot. Samurai, anyone that you particular jump out at you that you remember with Mysterio, either feud wise or tagging, that he did not mention?
Yeah, Chavo. Chavo is one of them.
Chavo Guerrero Jr., right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I said that to my wife. I thought I forgot that it was Eddie's nephew. I go, he didn't mention his nephew. And then my wife reminded me, no, that's Eddie's nephew. I said, yeah, you're correct.
I mean, I to this day, I still don't know how Eddie is Chavo's uncle, but they're virtually they were the same age. But what was I saying?
Any other particular wrestlers that helped him along his career, or when you think of Rey Mysterio and you close your eyes and you think of that other opponent across from him, or even teaming up with him?
Who's Guerrero from WCW?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I was thinking of.
I can't think of anybody else right now, but he's not the only one that I can think of.
You can think of Psychosis.
Yeah, Psychosis too. Yeah.
I was talking of JBL. He has some good feuds with JBL. Maybe forgot about JBL. That one. That was a good one there. Undertaker was another one.
Long story short, and I'm pretty sure Ray would say the same thing because he's a really nice guy. If I can just imagine the conversation like I would have about this promo. I can tell him, man, you forgot to think about you forgot to thank a lot more people. He would be like, man, if I had to thank everyone in my career that helped me, I would probably feel every hour of Raw.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But and hopefully he'll leave it for when he gets elected in the WWE Hall of Fame. He'll remember everyone that he forgot there on there. So we have them in there, and I'm glad that they didn't cut his promo or made it interrupted, but I like the way Judgment Day approach afterwards. They allow him his time to have his pound of flesh, and then Judgment Day came from the corners, at diagonal corners, into the arena, to the ring, and I forgot there was going to be a scheduled tag team match, Mysterios versus Judgment Day. All in all, I like the presentation this time around of Judgment Day, the way they came in. I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. I was like, I'm down. Samurai, how did you like the way Judgment Day entered the ring? Would you like the lights off and with their music, or were you okay that way, or what's your thoughts? What would you have done different?
I was watching somebody. They said it reminded them of Raven's Flock from WCW and
good one.
ECW, which I never watched ECW back in the day, but WCW I barely watched, so that was a really good callback to that. I mean, I didn't mind the non-music because they don't need to come out with music every time. They're heels, the way that it's done. Like I said, it reminded me of Triple H when he was doing NXT, and also Tommaso Ciampa when Tommaso was the best heel ever.
All right. So we get the match there, and all in all, it was a good match there. I was expecting a heel turn from either Dominic. I actually thought Rey Mysterio was the one that was going to be a heel turn. To be honest with you, last night, Madison Square Garden, memorable night. I thought it would, and then it kept showing his family in the back, and it kept showing his family back and forth. And I said something's going to happen here, knowing something, and no, we get the Mysterios get the victory if I'm not mistaken over them. The results and the match. What's your thoughts?
I actually thought Dominic might be the one to turn heel. And I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, is Dominic gonna turn heel? I'm waiting, and then never happened. And then we got to rolling, and obviously you had the Mysterio stick away with the win, and again, say what you want about Dominic, and I get it. He's really young, but I will argue that he's, especially for his age, is a really good wrestler. Like, I get it. People want to see him go back to his NXT because they feel like he's either not good enough or too green or whatever it may have you. But the guy already is a really good wrestler, especially for his age. And I think a lot of people, they're so fixated on his age or the fact that he's Rey Mysterio's son that they forget how good of a worker he already is.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and it kind of gets redundant after a while. It's like, pay attention to how he does in the ring. He's actually really good.
He's a whipping boy. Unfortunately, he has a stereotype that no matter what happens, that stereotype, no matter how well he performs, they're gonna always go back to that stereotype on him. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and also, the match itself, I actually enjoyed it, and it made sense for like the Mysterios to win. I really didn't like it. Unfortunately for Judgment Day, if I had to nitpick only one thing, the Judgment Day, they took I think they took a little bit of a break the past few weeks, the point where like they lost a little bit of their luster, so they do need to build them back up. So hopefully they can come back.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because we saw that wasn't the end of this Judgment Day we saw that evening. We go in the back, the celebration of the there was a cake, and with WWE, when there's cake, someone's gonna get it in their face. But no, we saw Judgment Day actually we saw Mysterio in the back with his family, and we had an interruption, and finally on TV, Rhea Ripley emerges. Now, I didn't know personally because I stood away. I kept away from wrestling for a little bit. Didn't know there was history between Ray's daughter and Rhea Ripley due to the fact of Murphy, Eddie Buddy Murphy. I didn't know there was a love triangle angle there because now if you look on social media, Rhea Ripley now dating Buddy Matthews, from the House of Black, Buddy, right? What was his name in WWE with Matthews, right?
Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy. So I didn't know that, but I love the fact that Rhea came in, tried to interrupt with, she just when she looks like, to be honest with you, the way I saw it, the way before the night is over, she looks like she's the freaking boss of Judgment Day. The way she was just badass. She came in, you saw her mush her. First of all, before even that happened, they showed her come up with Rey Mysterio's old costume that Legado Fantasma had in NXT, and they asked her how she got it. And what did she say about how she retrieved it?
She said she had to do some digging.
All right.
All right. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like in an attic somewhere because Ray's gonna keep his uniform, his 1987 Halloween Havoc gear. So I was confused by that.
Yeah, but didn't last time we saw that gear, Santo Escobar had it.
Did he? I probably wasn't paying attention, but yeah, he probably did. I don't know.
He had it. It was under his possession. So is this, I hope, me personally, just the fan of NXT that I am now, the 2.0, I'm hoping that this is a bridge that now they're going to cross promote. Of course, they do that. We do see the pro shows cross promote because you see when the NXT, when the WWE wrestlers come down NXT. But I would like to see some of the NXT storylines jump into current Raw and SmackDown as well. Not just the upper talent go down, but have the lower talent or the young guys part of the storyline going forward. I really enjoyed that there. We saw Rhea giving the push to Mysterio's daughter. She goes, I got this, but she mushed her and she looked like a total badass because they cut there, and I was like, ooh, it left us wanting more. So heel, how did that look?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm not mistaken, she does know a little bit of wrestling. I'm mistaken on that, Aaliyah. But I do hope she at least gets involved for this match, at least as a person at ringside. So that would be really cool. And when I saw the gear, I was thinking, wait a minute. Just like you, I was like, either three things are gonna happen here. Either Escobar is gonna get the call up, and he's gonna get involved with Judgment Day. 2, Ray. They're probably hinting that Ray might turn heel eventually, or Dominic. Or is Ray gonna put that on for a one-nighter against Judgment Day? As a way of basically saying, like, he's going, I guess you say, his inner demon. Like, he's bringing out his inner demon. I was like, yeah, it definitely made me start thinking. Or it could be just simple fact of like, oh, thanks, this was the gift. But I hope it's not just that. I hope it actually was a sign for something.
Yeah, we shall see there, because there's a lot in there to unpack with that. Because a couple months before, they never went to it before. Legado Fantasma lost and became under Tony D'Angelo's watch. There was a promo spot where Ray and Dominic were in the Performance Center, and they crossed paths with Legado Fantasma, where they disrespected Ray, and Dominic said that Ray was part of the past. And I thought that was going to set up a feud that I wish they would have touched on it and brought more to it, and they left it like that. Samurai, do you recall that one?
I do, yeah. I mean, that was about a couple months before the whole merging of the family and Legado, and it was weird. But
that was before Veer made his appearance. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
Ooh,
but to be quite honest with you, I do think that we do see Legado on the main roster at some point. All of them, not just Santos, because they all deserve to be up there.
Yeah, but will Santos Escobar become the new leader of the Judgment Day?
And I don't think he's too far. I don't see that kind of a gimmick of that dark order for Santo Escobar. He's more. Well, we'll never know, because when they go up, it's hard to tell that, because we don't know the direction of what Triple H is thinking compared to what Vince. Maybe with Vince, you could say I could see him try to change his gimmick to no longer being, the Latin cartel type of gimmick, and change it to something different, because we've seen it with Vince. But I don't know. I think with Triple H, I think they're gonna stay kind of the same kind of gimmick and run it up the ladder to the what made you successful in NXT. We're gonna keep it pushing up, and we're going to keep it on the main roster. You're going to stay there, which I think we're like for instance, like a Giovanni Da Vinci, who looks like he's, this pretty boy. I think he's going to stay with that, not change him to something different. If Triple H was in charge, if Gunther and Ludwig would have came up, I think they would have stood as Imperial. I think Imperial would have stood there. They would not change the name. They would have kept it at Imperial with Triple H. So I don't know. Just a good question there. It's a good debate. It's a really good debate that I'm enjoying. The endless of possibilities. Right now, when Vince McMahon used to say many years ago, expect the unexpected in the World Wrestling Federation, but now it's the World Wrestling and Entertainment. You could literally say you could expect the unexpected, because we don't know what Triple H, head of creative, he's going to lean on, he's going to listen to his writers and creative. And I think and he's going to be open-minded. That's what the narrative's been with him with NXT and anyone else and other stories that I've heard from Triple H. When you have an idea, you could come to him and he's willing to listen. And you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Let's go with it. So, it's an exciting time and a sad time at the same time.
Yeah. All right.
We'll move on here. We go into the ring. We have the Bianca Belair come out, and she's cutting a promo, and Becky Lynch comes out looking with her white outfit out, and these two ladies go to the freaking woodworks in a brawl. I loved it. I'm not gonna elaborate more. I loved it. I wish they would have let them brawl a little more longer. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, as much as I like Bianca Belair, I don't mind her as champion. But as soon as I see Becky, I got like I know I try my best not to let personal fandom get involved with, you know, my love for the wrestler. But with wrestling, I just can't help that. Considering she's a mom at the same time, and on top of that, she's working a full schedule. My fandom for Becky used to be kind of like, okay, she's cool, to now she's an amazing wrestler. So now Becky compared to Bianca, I got so much respect and everything. Becky, I'll go as far as to say she's my favorite women's wrestler right now. And I want her to really beat Bianca for the women's championship. Like, I know she's supposed to play a heel, but I can't hate her as a heel when literally she's a mom backstage and she's a wrestler in the ring. Like, you can't hate a person who sing once. I know he's a dad backstage, but it's like, how am I supposed to hate that?
Well, you know, just to let you know, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford have kids too. They have children as well.
I know they do, but like, it's like, I guess it's just highlighted more. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I got you. They got you in a sympathetic way there.
Yeah.
I personally wanted them more. I wanted them to fight more because now it makes you. Because to be honest with you, I didn't wrestle the SummerSlam moment. I don't really want to see Becky and Bianca go at it. Really, I really didn't want to. But it seemed personal, and the fact that she lost last year in 28 seconds to Bianca, where everybody was with their mouth open, like, really, you really took the title, disrespected Bianca there, and now Bianca has a chance to bench that ghost. I'm invested in that fight. Samurai, what's your thoughts on that? You invested in these ladies or you always was invested from the very beginning?
I mean, I love both women. That's all I'm gonna say because I have nothing to say to that.
Listen there. Considering, I want these two women to get really, really personal, and I want them to make it like the best feud they can possibly make it. Like, yes, you could talk about like, oh, I want the title and whatnot, but considering, like you said, Kev, both these women have personal lives and like that, I want them to go full on personal. I think that would be the best thing for this feud.
That might be a fact match of the night. When SummerSlam is over, I wouldn't be surprised if we do, or when we do the SummerSlam review, we could say that was a freaking battle, and that that one was match of the. Wouldn't be surprised if that was the best match of the night. It wouldn't surprise me one iota. Say, well, that Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair match, they made everyone in professional wrestling look whoa. I wouldn't be surprised there. So we shall see. I'm excited for that. I want to see it. I would like to see a no disqualification, just a good clean match, a winner, but with no, just no DQ, just let it go. Let the ladies go at it. It's going to be a fun match. We'll preview that when the SummerSlam preview show comes up. Then we go on. We have a match with Alexa Bliss taking on Doudrop. Now, Alexa Bliss, I love the promo. She's letting everyone know why she still carries Lily around, because she's letting the world universe knows that Lily sells merchandise. And what does these wrestlers? They make extra money is by selling merchandise. Lily is over. She's selling merchandise. It's the same thing with Liv Morgan. Her merchandise cannot be on the shelf. I mean, people are going all over and going crazy for Liv Morgan, and Lily and Alexa Bliss is over, and they're pushing Alexa Bliss, bringing her back to the top of the women's title match. in at least the number one contendership. I like it. I like her build up. I don't think she's been. I think she's undefeated, other than this Money in the Bank match, which she didn't get pinned and all. But I think ever since coming back from repackaging in Monday Night Raw or in SmackDown, whenever we've seen her, I think she's been undefeated, at least on national television. Besides this Money in the Bank match, now the match is the match with Doudrop. I agree with and I like the fact that they protected her finish with the DDT. Heel, are you agreeing with the push that they have for Alexa Bliss?
Yes, when a wrestler is selling merch for you, and they are still over to this day, because also let's be honest, Alexa Bliss at this point has been with the WWE since like what, 2012, 13. It's been a long time now, almost 10 years, I think. Yeah, and they're still this over. Yeah, you have to give them at least somewhat of a push. And yeah, all I can really say about this is like I didn't mind this match or anything like that. It was just kind of hard for me to pay attention because like I was just like I don't know. It's like sometimes I like Doudrop, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the day. So I was like Alexa Bliss versus Doudrop. I'm like, and before anyone gets any like thoughts, it's not because she's a big girl. It's just like I said, sometimes I like her character, sometimes I don't. It's just like, it's like 50-50. And it's like, so I was like, I just didn't, I was struggling to watch. I'll just put it that way. So,
all right.
Yeah, it was all right, I guess.
All right. Samurai, what's your thoughts? Alexa Bliss, Doudrop, the protection of her DDT finish. Did she sell it on a big girl like Doudrop there? Because also, we got to let Doudrop start winning some matches too. I'm tired of her jobbing.
That's probably the problem too.
I mean, all of that, everything that you said, I agree with. I mean, as far as like Doudrop, I mean, Doudrop is a Vince McMahon thing and a Kevin, Bruce Pritchard thing. So I feel like they oh god, my phone just fell. They did this because they want you to basically, you know, boo Doudrop, but at the same time you really can't because of what you know she's been through. She's been the product of shitty creative, and you know, I feel like with Triple H in charge, everything's gonna change for Doudrop. Doudrop will no longer have Doudrop in the next couple weeks. She'll go back to Piper Niven. I hope. You know, I hope Triple H gives them their original names back, like Nikki Cross. Like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being optimistic, but I feel like they are all gonna get revamped and revitalized with Triple H in charge.
We shall see. We shall see that. I hope that, you know, Piper starts winning. I hope she starts, you know, start winning some more matches, you know, and it begs the question there, with it. I like the fact that Alexa Bliss brought up a question mark. What's their friendship between Nikki and Piper? You know, are they really friends, or aka Doudrop? Are they friends? Why are they friends? And it kind of, she planted a seed there, because I remember they were kind of teasing that they were gonna, you know, Doudrop was getting a little bit rough with Nikki because like drop that superhero kind of gimmick. You're losing stuff much there, and now, what you think? You think eventually a program with Nikki ASX where Doudrop looks vicious and kind of not squashes but gets over on that feud with Nikki Cross, Samurai? You think that will help, you know, Piper?
I mean, yes. I mean, in a way, yes. I feel like, okay, how about we have this? How about Nikki ASH versus Doudrop? If Doudrop wins, she has to drop the mask.
Yeah. Yo, mask for career like that, or something like, you know, the mask. I agree. I like that. Something different, you know, because we got to have Piper Niven get a victory somehow. You know, she's a real good performer. Yes. And she came along in the wrong time because she should have been around, and I don't know if she was, because remember I took a little bit of break from the WWE. Was she around when you had Nia Jax? That's, and I understand not to be stereotypical, but you need big obstacles. Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley. That's a match. When Nia Jax was in her range, and there wasn't anyone. Tamina was, and that's family. To have them go in a feud, they need that. They need more of those type of now with Miguel Rodriguez, there. I wish they would bring Nia Jax back. I'm just a fan of Nia Jax.
I mean, to your question, I think she was in NXT UK when Nia Jax was
Okay. Was around. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
I don't know. I would have to really dive deep and look into that, but I think she was in NXT UK.
Well, you can just Google it. You don't have to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. We'll leave that for another day because we're short on timing. NXT too. I have to get back. I have to get to the Performance Center in a few hours, in about an hour.
Yeah.
And some change.
Can't sign the contract.
Hey, I was a made man by Tony D. He made me the Don of the watch-alongs. What could you do? You see it? Yeah. So we move on to the a segment that I wish they would have not done. And I'll say, and I'm going to say it real quick, and I'll ask you guys. I didn't want to say it first because I didn't want to persuade your thoughts. I still want your original opinion, your own thoughts here. Was Impulsive TV. I mean, I think I could have done without that segment because I already was invested and I was looking forward that you open up Monday Night Raw with these guys beating the shit out of each other and start Monday Night Raw and they were just personal. Then you have this Impulse TV and it felt forced to me. You're hey, we're okay. We're accepting Logan Paul, but don't put us too much because guess what? We're going to just hate him too. We're like, ugh. We don't want to know about you because especially when you mentioned the stupid brother who's going to fight in Madison Square Garden, they crowd booed him. I said, dude, what are you doing? You're taking the positive that you gotten from the WWE Universe. Now they're going to hate you because of your stupid brother. Granted, your brothers are talented, but and then Maurice comes out to talk about only maybe you, Hugh, might have liked about Mrs. Balls, but I had to know. I don't want to know about it. I'm good, and it's not because of it's not because of the uncomfortableness. It just didn't look. It wasn't comical. It looked forced, and it was like you're putting filler. Now, I want to hear your personal thoughts, I hope I didn't persuade, or you don't have to agree with me, but what was your thoughts? If you liked it, hey, I can't disagree with you on that. We could agree to disagree.
My thoughts exactly were, like you said. I think he's still loved by WWE. I think he's still over as a face because of how hated the Miz can be. But however, I do agree. Like, Logan is still green enough to the point where he doesn't know how to set up a crowd. He doesn't know how to control a crowd. And this is why when you're in the feud with the Miz and you're a guy like Logan Paul, WWE made the mistake of not having the Miz set up Logan Paul. You should have the Miz be out there first. Now, granted, I'll give him the pass because this wasn't Miz TV. This is Impulsive, so I'll give him the pass for tonight. And it's not because of WWE bias; it's just common sense. And this was Logan's time to prove how good he was on the mic, and there's still a lot of work there to be done. Logan Paul proved tonight he can't set up segments. That's just not his thing. And sorry to say this to Maurice, but she's never been good on the mic. So when she came out there, and granted, Logan Paul didn't help, but when literally all they kept talking about was the Mrs. Balls. And by the way, I like Maurice's new purse out there with the two balls. I'm like, that was really ironic. But yeah, and then the Miz came out there, and I was like, okay, good. We have someone to save this segment, hopefully. And he kind of did. The Miz did what he could with it. And I'm like, okay, now that this is over, I'm like, now Triple H, don't have Logan Paul set up any more segments because when you do, this is what happens. It kind of leaves you wanting more, and it turns out to be really dry. From now on, have the Miz set up the segment, have Logan Paul feed off of it, and there you go, he got magic. But when it's the other way around, it just doesn't turn out the same at all.
I agree with your thoughts, but I don't think it was in the right spot. They could have done without the whole segment there, and because you already gave us that in the beginning with that feud. They hate each other. You could have. I would have liked them going in the backstage and going at it, in the hallways looking for each other. Samurai, what was your input on that with the Impulse TV? And what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, you both said it best. I mean, honestly, I think that he should have mentioned Jake, because if he once he mentioned Jake, that basically made him a heel. If he had to mention Jake, he would have been fine. But then he like heel says he can't set up a feud or anything like that. So I mean, it's gonna be hard for WWE to get behind, make him a babyface. Like, do you see that?
I agree. I think he's a heel. He's, Logan Paul is despised. I mean, it's hard for them to keep him a face. He is despised, even despite the fact that he's going up against Miz, because, we saw even before that, we saw him getting a kind of a semi endorsement from AJ Styles. Like, I don't agree with you, Lion and I, but go get Miz. It's like, I'm not supposed to like you. I really don't like you, but we have the Miz is Miz. He's the locker room jerk or whatever. Just a joke. He's supposed to be the heels, and you go get him. But I cannot see Logan Paul if he's gonna stay, which he did sign a contract to stay with WWE, and he loves it. I don't see him as a heel. I mean, as a face, I see him as the heel, a person that you're can't stand, and eventually he will be leading people into those segments heel. I think right now you're right. You're absolutely 100% the way you said it. But I think all in all, when it's said and done, with experience, Logan Paul will be a good talk show. He's going to be the anti Pat McAfee, if you ask me.
You know what I think? I think that once he's done, I mean, realistically, I don't like it when people sign and go straight to the main roster. You know that. I didn't like it with Dominic. I don't like it with Logan Paul. So I think what should happen is after this match at SummerSlam, he should go to NXT.
I'll defend Logan Paul on this. Any Dominic to some degree, even though you can argue more for it. But I'm mainly going to argue for Logan Paul. Okay? Logan Paul did deserve to get promoted to the main roster right away. Not because here he has what a lot of people in NXT don't, and that's name recognition and drawing power. He's a big name already.
It's true.
So despite what you think about his wrestling ability or his talking, whatever, you're going to want him on your main cards, because as soon as people see on the commercials, now wrestling at SummerSlam or whatever, Logan Paul versus X wrestler, people are going to be like, what? Logan Paul's on this? I might have to order that.
Right. That's why you don't see.
Yeah. NXT wrestlers, I'm sorry, they don't come with that benefit. So that's
why
they have to train them.
Because they're if that was the case, we would have saw Valerie Lorena up on the main roster. She's staying in NXT. She's doing NXT, work. She's the former Bellator fighter that's in NXT, what you call it, aka the twerking fighter. She's there in NXT now because she doesn't have the name recognition as a Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, you go right into it. Also comes with that Samurai, with the name recognition to go up there with that. Now you could say the same thing with Adriana Grace. Who is Adriana Grace? She's the daughter of Santino Marella, and she's in NXT, and she's even fighting in Level Up. She's not even fighting in the main roster yet of NXT. She's in Level Up. The same thing with Simone Johnson is in NXT, and she's cutting promos. She's not even hasn't had her in-ring match yet. That's the daughter of The Rock, and she's down in NXT. So sometimes certain names don't get the recognition of Samurai. But I want to give this credit though to Logan Paul. His match on WrestleMania was stunning though. It was memorable.
I mean, he seems like he's going to be a phenomenal wrestler. I'm just saying, like, I just think that he should work on his promo ability. Like, that's why I say he should go down.
Oh absolutely. He needs, and hopefully in the main roster, they'll give him a producer, a booker, former talent to work with him. You have Jason Jordan as a producer. You have other guys. I use him as an example. Devon, but Devon is in NXT as a producer, as a coach. But I don't know who's that. I gotta find like Curtis Axel. Gregory Helms.
Hurricane Greg Helms. He's a producer. Curtis Axel, Joe Henning. I mean, anybody that can cut a promo is a producer. So
no, but that they help. They work with the talent behind the scenes and help them. And I hope they give him, Logan Paul a good mentor as a producer there to help him come along the way and help him with some strong skills. You also have the Road Dogg. I sorry, I forget it. Just about his real name. Yeah, he's going by his not stage WWE name. I know it's the Road Dogg Jesse James, but he's going by his birth name now. And I forget the name. But let's go with Jesse James because everybody knows Jesse James.
Brian Armstrong. No,
is it Brian Armstrong? I know he's Armstrong. Yeah, Brian Armstrong. You're right, Samurai. And I hope they give him to work with Logan Paul because Jesse James was both good and heel, and that dude could cut the best promos until this day. We're still screaming out his promos heel.
Yeah. Now let's get ready to suck it.
You didn't know? Yeah. Your ass better call somebody. That was phenomenal, and I hope he works with him, and I hope he helps him go along with that there now.
Now I'm going to ask this question before we move on to the next segment. Do you think that because everybody's speculating that with Triple H in charge of talent creation, talent relation, and creative, that people that were no longer in WWE, and people that are current AEW stars are gonna sign back to WWE that were former WWE superstars with Triple H in charge?
I'm glad you mentioned that because I want to make a personal note here. I'm tired of hearing these two names over and over and over and over. If they're not with the WWE or AEW already, it's because you guys suck. You guys don't got it. And that's talking about you, Johnny Gargano, and Critter Cross. I'm sick and tired of every fucking week. And I'm sorry for saying cursing here. He's going to sign. Listen, if you guys were any good, they would have thrown you a shitload of money. Buy Tony Khan, who signs anybody who has a WWE 10W2 form to sign there. Heck, he sabotaged Jonathan Gresham's career for Cesaro. Antonio Cesaro, a.k.a. Claudio Castagnoli from the third generation. He screwed at ROH. If you, Johnny Gargano, and Chris the Killer Cross were any great, you'll be already in WWE. I don't want to hear it because Triple H, Gargano's coming back. Look, until I see it there, I don't want to hear it. See, I'm up to here. I'm up to here with those names. Seriously,
you're kind of biased though because you didn't watch NXT Black and Gold, so you don't know how good Karrion Kross or Johnny Gargano are.
I get it, but you guys over and over and like.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying. Maybe you should go back and watch.
I'll say.
I agree with you on that part.
I'll say this: Gargano in the old school NXT was really great. As far how he would do in the main roster, nobody knows, and I think that's a fair midway.
It's a fair point, but my thing is, if they were really that transcended, next level, they would have been already signed with even AEW. And the fact that they're not there, they didn't get thrown a boatload of money, says something, guys. Adam Cole, for Christ's sakes, got a boatload of money. And and Adam Cole, I see his in ring. He's okay. He was supposed to be the next Shawn Michaels, but I don't know.
Look at.
By the way, we already found the next Shawn Michaels. His name is Seth Rollins. And then if you want to go before that, it's AJ Styles.
It's Seth Rollins. Rollins.
Seth Rollins had that Shawn Michaels effect where he can work with literally anybody and make it a 5-star match.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Look at what Undisputed Era is now in AEW. I mean, come on now. We already discussed this. They're their mid card is for life over in AEW.
We agree with that. But you know what? I'm going to be open minded. You know what? I want to. If they sign him, I'm not going to be totally against seeing a Johnny Gargano and Killer Cross in the WWE. I'm not going to say I don't want them in the WWE, but can we pipe down of them being this the next Rock or the next? Because if they were, they would have been already elevated. They would have been promoted and pushed hard, like a Theory, or even if I want to say, let's give it time, because if they're not here yet, it's for a reason, dude. It might be something backstage with them, the work ethic or something that's holding them. Because Vince don't let one talent just leave the door for no reason, dude.
Also, you have to realize that Johnny's.
You know what? I'll just say this, Samurai, to get it over with. Shawn Michaels. Now I'm not sure if it's true or not, but there's a lot of rumors that he was chaotic backstage. He played a lot of politics, but Vince never let him leave the arena because why? Shawn Michaels went down as one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, I get that, but
what me and even Cab is trying to, I'll just say Vince in this case, because that's who was running stuff when Shawn was. If they are really great and they are good enough, anyone who is in charge of the WWE at the time, if they see that you are good enough, they are not going to let you leave the arena without feeling like, hey, this guy's got a locked up spot here. And they will put all the effort they can into you to make sure you get, whether it's help for whatever, they even did that with Hardy, or whatever issue you have, you can become a star with them. Because obviously they don't want you walking to any other company, and getting your stuff together there, because again, they did it with Shawn. They said, hey, we know you can be an a-hole or whatever sometimes, or whatever, but we know you can be a star because we know you're super talented. We want you here. So could you please stay here no matter how much it takes? So can we now move on? Because we're talking about Raw. So we're splitting, and Kev's got to hurry up to NXT. So
I just want to make yes. I want to make a quick point there, real quick. Yeah. You made a great point, because if Shawn Michaels, if they really think about it, if McMahon would have had enough of all the politics and all the antics of a Shawn Michaels, Michael Hickenbach back in the day, he would have let him go in to NWO. Because remember, they were all friends. The clique was all there waiting for him. They were waiting for him. They had his shirt. They had him, and Michael Hickenbach, Shawn Michaels used to be all the time in NWO and WCW backstage. Remember, he married Diamond, one of the dancers from Nitro Girls. That's his wife to this day, and he used to be a lot backstage. And the fact that WWE did not let him allow him to jump ship, and they kept him, they put up with his antics. They let him even go backstage there, and they paid him. It shows you that when you have talent, Samurai, McMahon sees something in you. And I'm saying McMahon isn't 100% right, because there's a lot of wrestlers we could see here. We could do a podcast, all the ones, boy, if he knew that one, he would not let him go. One of and I think, that's why when Cole left, I was like, you know what? They don't see something that we don't see, and it's showing. He's injury prone. Daniel Bryanson, he's concussed. He just got a concussion. Another one. You could say his career is done again, and then AEW he gets another concussion. Look at Bret the Hitman Hart. Who in the hell thought that Mick McMahon, who brought him up from WrestleMania 1, allowed him to go to his main competition in the middle of a Monday Night Wars to go and go to the W2 and give him a 20-year contract extension, let him out of it, go to WCW, and look what happened. I mean, hindsight is no one knew that Goldberg was going to kick the crap out of him in the head and end his career, but they knew. I know Vince McMahon has that had that eye of knowing when to, if they want to go ahead, test the grass on green if it's green on the other side, because you see a lot of wrestlers go and come back from WWE because they think the grass is green on the other side, and sometimes it's not. With that, but I hope you're right, Samurai. I'll be the first one to make a podcast and say, yo, you were right, man. Gargano is a beast, dude. He is a beast. And Killer Cross, granted, Killer Cross has the look, Samurai. He looks awesome. I don't remember his in-ring performance. I don't think I've seen his in-ring performance, but I know that him, Gargano and Ciampa were phenomenal NXT tag champions, and they were good ring competitors. But there's something about it, Samurai, because I don't know. You might be right. They might bring former talent back. You might be 100% right. Where remember, one man beauty is behind the beholder, and we don't know what is beautiful in Triple H's eyes. Remember, Triple H, when he did the black and gold, he brought a lot of indies wrestlers to the black and gold label, which was competition. And then if it wasn't for, my opinion, for the pandemic, where they weren't getting any people to go to the entrance for NXT to go, because the tapings on Tuesday are not a paid event. But everything else, live events, like when they were doing in Brooklyn and so forth, NXT, when they go on the road, that's a pay event. Since there was no pandemic, I think killed NXT. So what they did was, they turned out to be NXT 2.0 is collegiate athletes or young athletes who are men and women, young guys who want to get in the wrestling business, who are athletic, that we could teach them and develop them and not have to pay them. The NXT, the black and gold was independent indies where you could see it was a better product than. That's why everyone says black and gold was better than. But if it was true, you wouldn't have lost to AEW on Wednesday nights. If it was really that good, and it was really that great, how come the WWE Universe, you didn't support it? You decided to go to NXT, AEW. So don't come now and complaining that, and black and gold was much better than this crap that we see right now, the 2.0. Nonsense. 2.0 is really good. It's just it's a different avenue, in my opinion. That's all I got to say about it.
Well, I mean, I get that, but what I was going to say was Johnny is still taking care of his son, so that's why he's not signed anywhere. He was actually just at a local show called AIW. I think this past weekend, which
Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh? Is it in Pittsburgh?
No, that's it's in Cleveland.
Okay.
He was at a local show. I didn't go to it because I didn't know about it, but I followed Johnny on Twitter, and it said he was I also follow AIW on Twitter too. So I mean, he was there.
Is he ready to get back in the ring?
He was actually. I don't know if he was in the ring or not, but he was probably backstage.
Maybe that's what it is. He can't commit to a full schedule. But WWE is a full schedule. It's not that you're going to show up on Wednesdays and wrestle and see you next week, fans, and we see you, or maybe I'll fight a dark on a Saturday. WWE is almost every other day. They wrestle, not just Monday Night Raw. They have a bunch of house shows. They tour up and down the world, and that's the schedule is rough for. Maybe he just doesn't have the time. He wants to. It's not feasible for him to give, and maybe you commend him saying, I can't sign with you, give you a full-term commitment because I'm not going to be able to give you the best of me, and I don't have the power or the juice to be a part-timer. Maybe that's why Gargano ain't in the WWE.
Yeah, but like I said, also he's taking care of his son too. So
yeah, that's exactly the commitment issue. Yes.
All right, let's get back to review.
Let's get back to the Monday Night Review. We have here. The next match is something that was a little bit different, which I think they might have stepped in gold. Now, we saw a backstage promo where you see Dolph Ziggler was going to mention about did he I missed it. Did he address why he's going after Theory, or he just doesn't like him?
Yeah, he did. He said he's going after him because he needs to be taught a lesson.
Okay, so another one that doesn't like him. Okay, which was not a good reasoning. Maybe he says I want to stay as the youngest Money in the Bank cash in. Maybe he could have said that. Well, let's digress. They're gonna team him up here with AJ Styles now against Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy, they're great. To get people over, and also they're gonna be really good in the future. I know Gable's is a little older, but Gables could go. He's a good. I think they stumbled into a good tag team here. I would love to see more of these two guys. Possibly down the road, whoever comes out of this unification title, let them have an opportunity at the titles. I don't think they have to win it, but boy, the way they fought, the chemistry they had in the ring, Ziggler and Styles got me excited. Samurai, how did that tag team pair come together? Do you think they stumble on gold, or do you think this is a once and that's it tag up?
I think it's a one and done thing because like AJ needed something to do. And also, you have to think that it's Dolph Ziggler's first match, actually back. So I mean, I don't know where he was, but hey, to each their own. But speaking of Dolph Ziggler, where is Bobby Roode? Is he hurt?
He could
Uh,
be.
could be.
I mean,
Heel.
'cause if they brought
Yeah.
back Dolph as a face, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Bobby Roode as well. He's so glorious gimmick. I wish they'd bring that back. You know, that was my favorite iteration of Bobby Roode.
Yeah, Bobby Roode is. We'll see where he's at. And we saw him interrupt. What was it? They came out one time to a promo, and that's it. They
Yeah,
didn't
that
see
was
him no more.
with Omos and MVP, who we didn't
MVP.
see on the show today.
That's true. Right. Heel. Your thoughts? Do you also think that's a one and done like Samurai?
Yeah, I do. AD Styles is too good to go back another tag team. If I'm being honest with you.
Okay. I personally would like to see them. I loved it. I really think they had an intriguing chemistry. The way they fought there, we saw them defeat the Alpha Academy, of course. Otis and Gables, they both get it. They know how to work in the ring. I enjoy always watching Alpha Academy matches, despite they're gonna just be crushed or lose there. I know they were there doing that favor for Theory with going against AJ Zal Ziggler, but I liked it. I'm getting an echo.
Hold on, my
He's got a phone
Testing.
call. I'll mute you. No, it's on Samurai. Mute him. He's getting a phone call. Whenever he gets a phone call, he gets that
Echo.
echo. I'll put you on mute, Samurai, when you're ready. Then we finally to the main event. Now, before we get to the main event, we saw another backstage where we finally see Mysterio, Dominic. They get again clash with Finn and Priest, setting up their battle at SummerSlam. Now, okay, we knew that was going to happen. Something's got to happen here, heel, between these two facets. I was disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah, who's wrestling in the main event again? I'll be honest with you, I forgot.
I'll get you the main event. I just wanted to first give you that segment that they're gonna announce the match now between Judgment Day, Valor, and again, once again, Rhea Ripley looks like the badass in the group, the leader there. It looked like Rhea Ripley's the leader of Judgment Day. I'm sorry, and it might be Finn, but it came out as Rhea Ripley. I like the part when Finn Balor was tracking Mysterio, beating him in the hallway. It's my birthday because it was Finn Balor's birthday. And he goes,
Yeah.
forget about your 20th anniversary. It's my birthday. I like that there.
That was funny too, though. If I'm being honest, it was a little bit funny.
It was a good point. There was a good part there. Now, let me ask you this there. I was disappointed no Edge or whoever that mysterious promo cutter is. I thought that was going to debut at Madison Square Garden. That would have been this prop, and to see if they were going to interfere in SummerSlam. But I think they might leave that for SummerSlam, or at least the Monday night after SummerSlam. We shall see there. They kept bringing some more teasers. We saw Undertaker's urn. We saw Seth Rollins in the cut in the vignette. Who knows what it is there? It looks more and more like Edge. But we finally get to the main event. The main event had the Bloodline, all three members of the Bloodline taking on Riddle and the Street Profits. Now, this match, A+. The Street Profit match, the Alpha Academy, I liked it, and I also loved it. And everyone complains about the third hour. Oh, WWE is sometimes dogging it or getting to the finish line when the third hour. Nonsense. I understand you have to, in between, there was a lot of fillers, and you could see where you might have been a little bored. I thought it was a little boring a little bit, but to close out the Monday Night Raw, I love both matches. The Street Profits, they're over. You even saw blood in the match.
Yeah, but like I said about AEW a few times, and the same thing goes for this match. I think this Raw kind of like took a lot out of you in terms of it being boring to the point where like the main event kind of suffered, and that can happen with the wrestling show. And I think this main event suffered from that because I think by the time you got to this main event, you were just kind of ready for the show to end. Again, you were already tired from watching Rey Mysterio talk about his retirement. You were already tired from kind of like Roman Reigns doing stuff. Because, like, even though, yes, for the most part, this Raw was boring, there was enough to get you tired. Rather, it's enough boredom or enough excitement. And the main event suffered from that. And so, uh, and on top of that, I'll be honest with you, I like it when it's just the Usos versus the Street Profits. I think those two put on better matches by themselves. And granted, that can also be excused from the fact that maybe this match did suffer from the fact that Raw wasn't all that great this week. But um, overall, this match probably was really good. I just didn't see it because in my head, I'm like, I can't wait for Raw to be over now because I was just exhausted. And
Okay.
I was already looking at my when Roman Reigns came out. I was like, oh my god, it's a main event time. I was like, thank goodness, because sometimes at 3 hours, it really does feel like 3 hours. Like it feels just dragged. And then other times when it's a good show, it can just fly by depending on how good it is. And I don't know, the main event. I think it just suffered from overall iffy, if not boring show.
Okay.
And that's a bad thing for this main event because it probably was really good.
All right.
Overall, I can tell it probably was a good main event, but I was just too tired to really care.
All right. The main
I,
event was a good main event. I the back and
uh,
forth. They had Montez Ford was bleeding at one point there. You saw whenever I love the fact that he told the tribal chief to acknowledge him. I was like, "Whoa, look at this!" Setting up maybe future down the road Montez Ford, Roman Reigns. If the theory stuff don't happen, a tease. You also saw whenever the tribal chief gets actually tagged in and gets in the ring, it mattered. His minutes, his time in the square circle, which we don't see much. Remember, he's on that minor part time. Um, was very memorable. The fact that he was a larger than life when he got in that match and he did the moves and wrestled there. I thought Dawkins again looked really clean, again looking phenomenal with but it's starting to get a little boring when you're coming doing always that somersault. Show me something more, Dawkins, because you're becoming a one trick pony there. I'm just saying. But Riddle again, always with the tag, gets the hot heat, and of course Riddle. There's an obstacle now in Riddle's career, which is he can't stop. Roman Reigns keeps pinning him. He keeps getting pinned by Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns gets the victory on Riddle, gets the pinfall on Riddle to where the Bloodline wins, you want to do that because your champion doesn't feature, isn't shown much on national TV on them rare. This last time we saw him was about a month and a half ago against Riddle on SmackDown, and now he doesn't wrestle much on TV. You want to make it a big deal whenever he does, and I thought that was a big deal. Him getting that victory on Riddle, the way he looked, the way he perceived himself. Unfortunately, yes, it might have been a little boring, not the match, but the card itself to help you to get you to that journey to watch that main event and get excited. Maybe that main event should have been in the first hour of crossover, and then you could have had Roman Reigns and the Usos come out and kick the crap out of Theory, and then Roman will say, "Make sure you bring that with you." When you bring that, and then you end Raw there. Maybe they could have done that. Maybe the displacement was a little bit off there because maybe that would have been a better way of closing out Monday Night Raw with Theory getting kicked and Roman intimidating him by standing over him and making him Theory looking up at him. Maybe that could have been a way of closing it, but they closed it a different way. As the Bloodline leaves the arena, all of a sudden Burn It Down hits. Seth freaking Rollins comes out, walks right by the tribal chief. He waves at him, bye bye, and he goes after Riddle, dumps him out where it ends. Roman Reigns on top of the world, laughing. Riddle getting curb stopped, not just in the ring, but on the rope, on the steel stairs, and wow, he really hurted him. Unfortunately, we were at this time, like you said, he'll just end it because I need to go to work. I need to go to sleep. Unfortunately, that ending was really good, but it lost itself because it missed somewhere within the second hour. I think what killed it was the Logan Paul impulse vignette or going into a little bit maybe too much Mysterio. And you have to give Mysterio his flowers, but
yeah,
You somewhere along the line there that built there. It's with the Alexa Bliss kind of lost us a little bit. I think personally, you know, when it lost me personally a little bit, when I thought when we had the disqualification and then you ended up bringing those guys back again for another match, I thought it was like, oh, I don't want to see this again. That was just me.
I think when they lost me was when they were having. I know this is really early, but probably because you know what they say, and this goes for anything, whether it's a sport or anything. It's the first like two or three batters, or in this case, the first two or three segments. As soon as they had like the interference with the Drew Theory match, I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those shows. And then I knew that it was all gonna be just dedicated about Rey Mysterio stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm like, I see what kind of show we're getting.
I personally, the show I was a little bit disappointed because it was Madison Square Garden. First of all, I understand why they did this, and this is a little bit that concludes the Monday Night Raw review. But I'm just going to give a little bit of my opinion real quickly above it. Madison Square Garden is the Mecca. That is the home court advantage of WWE. That's their home base for many, many years. And I understand why they did it. I personally would have had Vince McMahon retired last night, because that's where WWE really grew his bones. But I understand why they did it on a Friday, because one, stock market closed. Remember, they are a publicly traded company, so you don't want to mess up the stock market or the stock of the WWE. You do it on a Friday night where publicity, where you don't get you get press, but not as much. And then Monday morning, you saw that at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they announced Triple H ahead of creative. So stock market started growing because people were excited of that influx of him being in there.
I like the way they did it, because let's just be honest, Kev. It's better for Vince to retire the way he did, because if you have Vince come out and cut a promo about how he's retiring, there's a good chance the crowd just takes over the show. Because, and granted, I'm not saying this didn't really play a factor into him retiring, because it might have, but I think if Vince comes out and cuts a promo about his career and all that, there is a slight chance that the crowd just takes over and they're just like basically doing probably rude chants and stuff like that, telling him about how he's retiring due to the, you know what.
I disagree, because you saw that on when he came out that first and when he said together forever promo when he came live, welcome to SmackDown. They were cheering him on. They cheered him on when he came on Raw.
Yeah.
Even when Stephanie McMahon announced it on Friday, thank you Vince. I think he would have got the thank you Vince in Madison Square Garden, or even if it would have done it on the type Jumbotron. I think he would have got a thank you Vince, especially Madison Square Garden. But it didn't happen that way. So that's not reason why I'm complaining. But I would have, in a perfect world, it would have been perfect for him to retire in MSG.
Yeah, I get that, but you just never know. So I think that was the safest way to do it. And
I think it had to do with the stocks and the money. It's all about business.
On top of that, you know how Vince is. He doesn't really like to take the spotlight away from anyone. So even if that didn't play a role in it, you know how Vince is. I like that too. I would have done him personally in a perfect world. Him retiring there, ushering out Hunter and Steffi, and then just give it them and let them go at it. Then would have been, you were showing the old guard into the new guard, but it also there. Secondly, for a Madison Square Garden show, there was nothing memorable here. There's nothing here tomorrow or in a week from now. Oh man, Monday Night Raw, Madison Square Garden. We're not gonna remember crap. The only thing we remember is Logan Paul talking about Maurice coming out with a purse of look like testicles. That's not it. That's not what you want. Yeah.
You don't want that old moment. Remember, now that WWE doesn't really go too much like they used to in Madison Square Garden, like back in the days, you needed something memorable there. That's when they should have debuted that vignette, whoever the hell that guy was. Even if it was Edge repackaging just something, a surprise. If maybe everyone's cramming for Johnny Gargano to come back, even if you would have brought an NXT people up, to interrupt. Something memorable should have happened on Madison Square Garden, in my opinion, and they failed on capitalizing on that.
I got a question then. If he on that day on SmackDown when he cuts that to "This Is Us Together" promo, I wonder if he was deciding to retire like 2 weeks or so in advance already.
It kind of felt like it, but
Yeah.
then he came back out again. So I don't know. But with all this said, there, I think that would have been me personally there at the Garden show. But all in all, Raw was a satisfaction. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. They had its good moments, and it had its good moments, and it had its dull moments. And nothing's changed. I hope everyone in Madison Square Garden enjoyed themselves. They were there live. But it's rare when they go back a lot to MSG. Usually they're in the Barclays Center, and we shall see going forward there. And all in all, we will have that was the Raw go home show for SmackDown. We'll have for Raw, and then we'll have the go home show for SmackDown on Friday night, leading into Saturday's the SummerSlam extravaganza. I can't wait to cover that. I can't wait to see what's transpired. We got some good matches there. I think they're gonna bring it. But I just wanted to give a quick news and notes before I get out of here. Is Jonathan Gresham from Ring of Honor has asked for his release. He did not like that he had a wrestle 11-minute match opening, not only alone the opening match, dropped the ROH title to an ex-WWE Antonio Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli. And before that, he had some colorful exchange with Tony Khan before the match and after the match. He to the point where he erased his Twitter account and he erased his wrestling school's Twitter's account. So it looks like he's going to put a kayfabe and stop to his wrestling. He looks like Jonathan Gresham is done with wrestling in general. You're not going to see him show up in WWE or anywhere else. I think Jonathan Gresham, after this situation with AEW, ROH, remember he was a holdover from ROH when Tony Khan purchased it. He wasn't that he went to AEW. AEW bought him. And he didn't like the way he's been with the company 7 months. I understand. Well, 7 months has been a long time as a champion. You need to. I understand that. If that was the case, I think Gresham would understand if you would have made him at least the co-main event or 3 matches prior to the main event and make him drop the title. But when you make him the opening match and then you make him lose in 11 minutes and then you have the confetti, it's a slap in the face, in my opinion. I think it's a slap in the face for him because he's been an original way. And of course, there you go again with the XWE. It'll make a difference. It happened. Also, before that, knowing what the results, you saw Tony Blanchard no longer with AEW. He broke all his ties. Said it was to do ministry, the prison ministry, but also he didn't like the direction of the way Gresham was going to be treated there. And, Blanchard is a man of faith. And of course, business is business. He just didn't like the way that business was handled, and I think he said, "You know what? This is not for me." He's going to step. He also another interesting booker or producer that's going to leave, and take a step away from wrestling. Say, enough with the wrestling business for now, and he takes a step back. Interesting times for AEW. Also, in AEW, you see a lot of the wrestling, the ROH pay-per-view. A lot of empty seats. You saw empty seats as well on Fyter Fest. They are not selling out as in Atlanta. There's a lot of pictures in the video, and it's not because it was the opening match. It's when Cesaro had the ROH title around his waist. You see the arena was empty. There is issues going around there. Keep an eye on that. Low attendance. Just keep an eye on that. I know I know the AW marks are gonna come after me saying that's a lie, that's false, that's full. Pictures don't lie, folks. Pictures don't lie.
So he's already starting to piss off people, basically, Tony Khan.
Yeah, he's been already. I think that's one of the main reasons why. I'm not saying that he got into an argument with Cody Rhodes, but I think Cody Rhodes saw a different direction, a shift of what they stand for, what their mission statement was, changing a little, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to do me." Instead of I'm going to be the company man here. I've been too much the company man before, prior in WWE, and I got buried. Now I'm going to do me, and I think that's why it led to Cody, my opinion, departing away.
So Jonathan Gresham, he didn't even mind opening the match. He was just like, but if I am going to be the opening match, at least give me like 20, 30 minutes to make me seem like I'm a good fighting champion. And Tony Khan was like, no. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that the
like,
opening match, I was
yeah.
like, what? Because I was like, he's the opening match. I knew he was gonna drop the title, and I was shocked the way he did in 11 minutes. And I was like, and the thing is, we could go on. I have to get going, but I just want to say, all it is a swing, upper European uppercuts, a swing, European uppercuts. That's it, and a sharpshooter. That's Antonio. That's Antonio Cesaro Castellano. That's it.
We may as well just call him Cesaro because they basically have.
That's why I put. Did you remember I put Antonio in front? Remember he came in as Antonio Cesaro.
Yeah, Masamania.
Yes, but I want to thank everyone though. I understand we might agree and disagree on the wrestling takes and thoughts. That's from our opinion. The way I'm pretty sure you have your wrestling takes. The only one that's watching us, we're gonna respect that as well. We're not gonna see eye to eye, but we respect it. I don't see eye to eye sometimes with heel stakes, Samurai or MK or anyone honest. Just listen to us out. And we agree to disagree. But all in all, it's wrestling. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be getting your blood pressure activated. If your blood pressure gets activated, then there's something wrong. You need to go play golf or probably play some tennis. Don't watch wrestling. But all in all, guys, I want to call this the end of the review here. I want to thank you guys. Don't forget, tomorrow we will have the NXT 2.0 review. Tonight I will on my way to the Performance Center as soon as we're done here. Wesley takes on Grayson Waller. And you got Apollo Crews taking on Zion Quinn. You got the 8-man tag, the family Tony, D'Angelo, Tony Stacks, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro taking on Diamond Mine. And of course, we're going to hear from Zoe Stark, who won the Battle Royal and gets to challenge Mandy Rose, address her future. When she's going to challenge Mandy Rose. So review tomorrow for NXT 2.0, where I'm going to be in the building. Charles will be here joining me. We're going to have Samurai, who's going to watch it at home, and we can't wait to hear from you. He'll say your goodbyes before we run the intro.
Hopefully Raw's better next week, and peace out, guys.
Later.
I'm awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might grab a bat, I don't know, my rap, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change.